the Hot Take podcast from Boundary Park. Wrexham are top of the league and have got there in the most dramatic manner possible. First half at Oldham, where Wrexham frankly struggled, but backed by that remarkable support of 2,500 fans. Wow. They came back really well in the second half, although it's got to be said the catalyst was Elliot Lee coming on. Wrexham went behind to Mike Fondop, the ex-Wrexham striker, who scored an absolute worldie. Yeah. Getting the ball after Tozer made a mistake, driving forwards and running at the last defender, Hayden, and just when it looked like he ought to carry it further, smashed it in the bottom top left corner from 25 yards. A superb goal. But then Wrexham in the second half, it all changed just before the hour mark when Elliot Lee came on. Wrexham switched to 4 at the back. They brought off Max Clwyth, and Lee really started to orchestrate and create. Wrexham started to push. Lee had a really good header from a good 15 yards that Norman did well to hold on to, but then the breakthrough came with a lovely piece of interplay after a set piece was cleared. Tozer worked it into the box for Lee. He was surrounded by players, but played them absolute perfect return ball to Tozer, who stepped into the box and smashed it across the keeper to make up for his earlier mistake and equalise. Wrexham kept pushing on, and in the 96th minute won a penalty after Norman had to make a great save from Palmer. The ball ricocheted out and Young was crazily fouled. The ball bouncing high in the air, he went to head it, and a defender lunged across and kicked him in the chest. Had to be a penalty. The ref was running up the pitch. He thought Chelsea was going to get there and clear it, and then he had to turn round, give the penalty, and Paul Mullen stepped up and made the fans go crazy. Absolutely remarkable scenes. And Chay, that was an experience.
I'm shaking. I've got to say, Mark, I thought we were poor for most of the game, to be honest. And I don't think that's an unfair statement, to be honest. And I thought and on the flip side, I thought Oldham were fantastic, very organised, did what they were doing their job. But for me, it was when Elliot Lee came on, and in around the 80th minute, they started flagging. I think they were a bit tired, weren't they? And you give Wrexham 2 opportunities, we score 2 goals. It's as simple as that.
I think they went a bit too negative too early. They were causing us problems getting the forwards. Fondop was very good up front. Well, all 3 ex-Wrexham players, Rooney playing off him was good. Tollis was really good.
Wasn't he, to be fair?
Yeah, in the second half, the last 2 were starting 10 yards further back. Their midfield was leaving Fondop very isolated. And around the time that Lee came on, they really started to drop off the ball a lot. The midfield was very deep. We could take the ball easily deep into their half, and I just thought they were too cautious in that sense and allowed us to get at them. They defended very well though, and we still struggled to make chances, but ultimately I think they invited us onto them a bit too much.
It just shows how relentless we are as a team though, doesn't it? And you can never switch off. And the penalty, it was a clear penalty, wasn't it? Yeah. You could see the Oldham fans around us were just like, oh no, not again.
Yeah, exactly. Their reaction was furious, but it wasn't furious against the ref.
Yeah.
It was just the most obvious pen. I mean, the ball's about 8 feet in the air. Young is running across to get under it and head it.
Yeah.
But he's running towards the corner flag. He's not running to try and go for goal. He's just trying to keep possession, and the defender has just swung a lazy leg and kicked him in the chest. It was just the most stupid challenge.
Yeah.
And it's one of those rare occasions in football where you can genuinely point at one person and say, you cost us the game, mate.
That's probably down to fatigue as well, because I think the second half we were running and ragged. And what I take away from this game is, and I don't want to do the cliche, I've never really wanted to do the cliche thing of a lot of Wrexham fans said we need Elliot Lee all the time. But for me, this game's made me realise that we need to get him on the pitch as much as possible, especially for away games, because he is a real baller, isn't he? He was excellent today, wasn't he?
I'm just laughing because the unused subs are warming down from box to box, and when they run towards the Wrexham fans, they're still going, thinking they're going to be cheering them, it was. I mean, Lee was quality, and I think I'm sure he'll be asking Phil Parkinson, shouldn't I be starting games now? The way that he influenced that.
And the change of shape helped, I think, as well. I think Parkinson can take quite a bit of credit for this game.
We were both. I mean, I say this on Dragonheart every week, don't I?
Yeah.
Parkinson's not a negative manager, and people talk about Parky ball and him being defensive, but he's not. And with half an hour left, he's changed from 3 at the back to 4 at the back, and a very aggressive iteration of that diamond. And then he's brought Dalby on, but kept Palmer, Mullen, and Leon.
Yeah.
And we had the centre mid pairing of Young and Lee.
Yeah.
I mean, that is bold, and the full-backs are playing like wing-backs. He brought McAlinden on for McFadden. That's very bold.
And that was just to try and get something out of the game, and not only did we get something out of the game, we ended up winning it. And
14 favours the brave.
And sometimes you have to have that little bit of luck. Good sides have that little bit of luck,
Well, as well, I mean, good sides are good in both penalty areas.
Yeah.
And Oldham defended very well, but then ultimately, one of them did that.
Yeah.
And that handed us the game.
Yeah.
Man.
And as a personal point, I had to commentate and be professional, especially surrounded by some hostile Oldham fans.
One hostile Oldham pensioner,
fan.
wasn't he, down there? But the rest are lovely.
I had to record the second goal because I thought, I'll try and make some content out of this. You know what I mean? But it was so hard not to go wild, and oh wow, incredible! Those fans are going to enjoy it tonight.
I think so.
Get some Wrexham lagers down here.
Well, other beers are available, and interestingly, I've got a holy bottle of beer, I think, because I have a bottle of the Czech Budweiser, which I put in the freezer briefly. Just briefly. The idea was I'm having this in 5 minutes, but I've just brought it home. I'll just pop it there. It'll go nice chilled, and I'll pung it out. And I completely forgot. And 2 days later, I went to the freezer, and it was still liquid. So I think it's a sort of a miraculous beer, and I will enjoy it tonight. And it'll be like the papal wine in Black Box. There's an obscure reference.
I've got a Local Poly Stout at home, which is another local brewery. Yeah.
Very good. Excellent.
It's going to be consumed very fast, I think.
We had excellent pies, and we didn't even pay for them.
Yeah.
There's Phil Parkinson coming out for his post-match press conference with the press, which is usually who press conferences are for. The fans are still in here.
I'm not sure if they're being stopped from going to the bus, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, they're not. Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're being held there until the area's clear, which is quite right.
Yeah. And
I don't think they'll mind, frankly. If they'd lost 1-0, I don't think they'd be enjoying that much, but I think they're quite enjoying that.
And for me today, I want to say thanks to Oldham, because they've been amazing hosts, and they're so kind. We've had a free pie and a coffee from them. Yeah, really, and they've been fantastic hosts.
Absolutely. Well, remember that the other stuff will be coming. I'll be editing. I've got a lift to the game, so I can try and edit the first half in the car and get the highlights out in time. Although it turns out we got till midnight tonight, so I should be all right. And then, of course, I'll bring out the Final Whistle podcast, which will be more detailed. We had a brilliant time at Ask Wrexham. Let's keep that going. Thank you so much. Although I'm sorry we didn't get to a lot of them, frankly, because the game at the end just took control.
Electric,
But I'll go through them all and have a look and see your genius. And then Dragonheart, of course, will be out on Friday this week. And there's a game on Tuesday too, of course, Notts County. So let's keep your eyes peeled to that. And enjoy the weird white balance if you're watching us on the video, because I have doubts about this webcam because of its white balance. And at the moment, we look really bizarre. But, maybe it's that holy glow from the Budvar I'll be on to later. Excellent stuff. With the final score of Oldham Athletic 1, Wrexham 2. Oh, I forgot to say in the commentary, we extend our longest run of consecutive wins at Oldham and our longest run of wins home and away, overall against Oldham. The last time we played Oldham, I can't believe I didn't say this, was the 2005 season, when they were the only team in our history that we beat 4 times in the season. Beat them 3-2 here, hat-tricks at the Tam in the league, then beat them home and away in the LDV Van semi-final. Hat-trick here for Ugarte. Yeah. Mark Jones was talking about it in last week's Dragonheart. Yeah. He scored as well. And then beat them 1-0 at home in the second leg, Chris Llewellyn, and then beat them at the racecourse. And I really can't remember what happened in that game, but I don't care because we're top of the league. So adios, muchachos. Yes.